13. The Willies. Back down in his newsagent's shop, Raj pulled out two old wooden crates for him and Jack to sit on. Next, he rummaged around for something to eat before deciding upon a battered Easter egg and half a cheesy packet of biscuits that had somehow found their way behind the radiator. "Thank you so much for calling my dad last night, Raj," said Jack. "Of course, young Master Bunting. If truth to be told, it isn't the first time your grandfather has wandered out after dark." "I know," replied the boy, his face clouded with worry. A man of his grandfather's age going missing at night in the depths of winter could one day be fatal. The times before, I had always managed to chase down the streets after him and bring him back upstairs. "As you can see, I have an athletic build," said the newsagent as he slapped his tummy. It wobbled like a huge jelly, and like an earthquake, the aftershock went on for quite a while. "But last night, I just wasn't fast enough. I was feeling a little woozy as I had been at the chocolate liquors." Jack wasn't sure you could actually get tipsy on them. "How many did you have, Raj?" "Just 3, replied the newsagent innocently. "Surely there can't be much alcohol in just 3. 3 boxes? That is..." confessed Raj. "I feel rather hungover today. You see, I hadn't sold them at Christmas, and they had gone out of date. But it's only January. This was Christmas 1979. "Oh," replied the boy. "They had gone white," the newsagent admitted. "Anyway, by the time I had finally managed to get out of bed, get dressed, and stumbled out onto the street, he had gone. I chased him up and down the road, but there was no sign of him. Your grandfather can move fast. His mind may be going, but his body is still strong. So I rushed back into my flat, flicked through the telephone directory, but there is a misprint, as it says Bunting, not Bumpting." The boy was about to interrupt to correct Raj, but thought better of it. "Still, eventually I found the number and called your father. Mr. Bunting said he would go out and look for him in the car. Which reminds me, where on earth did you find your grandfather in the end?" "He looked all over the town, Raj," said Jack, picking up the story. "But we were looking in the wrong places. We were looking down when we should have been looking up." The newsagent scratched his head. "I don't follow you," he said as he popped another cheesy biscuit into his mouth. "These are covered in furry mold," he added, before pouring them all down his throat. "My grandpa always says, 'Up, up and away!' He used to say it during takeoff when he was a pilot with the RAF. So I knew he would be up high somewhere. Now, where do you think is the highest point in the town?" Raj looked lost in thought for a moment. "That jar of jelly babies is very high up. I need a stepladder to get all the way up there." Jack shook his head impatiently. "No, it's the church spire." "Goodness gracious, how on earth did your grandfather get up there?" "He must have climbed up. He wanted to touch the sky when he was up there. He thought he was piloting his Spitfire." "Dear, oh dear, on top of the church spire, thinking he's driving a plane? The old man is lucky to be alive. I fear your grandfather's mind is getting worse by the day." The truth hit the boy like a runaway train, and his eyes filled with tears. Instinctively, Raj put his arm around the boy's two shoulders. There, Jack. It's okay to cry. Would you like to buy a packet of used tissues? Jack didn't fancy drying his eyes, where a stranger had blown their nose. So replied, "No thank you, Raj. The thing is, my mum and dad want Grandad to go to that new old folks' home, Twilight Towers." "Oh dear," muttered Raj, shaking his head. "What's the matter?" "I'm sorry, young Master Bunting, but I do not like the look of that place one bit. It gives me the willies. It is on the edge of the moors." Raj shuddered as he thought. "Some local people say the only way to get out of Twilight Towers is in a coffin," he added gravely. "No," exclaimed Jack. "Well, he can't go there." "But Raj, my parents have made up their minds. They are set on it. Why can't your grandfather come and live with your family?" Suddenly a broad smile lit up on the boy's face. "I love that. That's how we do things in India. The old folk are looked after by the younger folk. I have my elderly aunt living up in the flat with me." "I didn't know that." "Yes, Auntie Dritty. She can't actually leave the flat." "Is she too old?" "No, too big." His voice lowered, and he looked up at the ceiling. "She was always a large lady, but since living above a sweet shop, she had ballooned. I thought I would have to hire a crane to knock down a wall if she ever wanted to pop out." Jack painted his image in the mind for a moment. A large lady in a bright-coloured sari being winched out across the street when his thoughts returned to the important matter in hand, his grandfather. "We don't have a spare room, but I've got bunk beds. In fact, Grandpa stayed last night. There's no reason why he can't stay forever, Raj. You're a genius." "I know," replied the newsagent. "I am going to run home and tell my mum and dad right away." "You do that, young Master Bunting." The boy dashed towards the door. "And please tell your good parents to pop by my shop soon. I have an excellent deal going of yogurt. Well, I say yogurt, it's last month's milk and..." But before the newsagent could finish his sentence, the boy was gone. Chapter 14. Cartwheels of Joy. Needless to say, Jack's parents had been extremely reluctant to move the old man into their home. However, the boy made such a passionate case for his grandfather that they finally caved in. Grandpa wouldn't take up any space because he would sleep in the boy's bedroom. Plus, Jack promised he would look after him whenever he was not at school. When his parents finally said yes, the boy wanted to cartwheel up and down the living room. His heart was so full of joy. "This is only for a trial period," Jack's mother reminded him. "We are not sure we can cope forever either, son," muttered Dad sadly. "The doctors said his conditions will get a lot worse over time. I don't want you to be disappointed if it doesn't work out. And if he goes missing in the night again," announced Mum, "then that is it, Jack. He has to go straight to Twilight Towers." Of course. "He'll be sleeping in my bedroom so I can make sure that will never happen," exclaimed the boy. Then Jack raced out of the house back to Grandpa's flat to tell him the fantastic news, grinning all the way.